Hello and welcome back to Pod Popper's Place. Today I am video guest designing for Kendra's card challenge number 12, and this is a collaboration hop with Gina K Designs. Gina K Designs is a super sponsor for Kendra's card challenge, and today is a giveaway hop, so you will have an opportunity to win a digital download from Cards by Kendra. Today, I will be working with these fabulous die cuts from Gina K Designs that cut out this ornament and this Christmas tree. And these will make some really super fast cards, although I didn't choose to make some super fast ones. I got it into a little bit more detail, but you could make some super fast ones with this by just adding a sentiment and some beautiful paper. I will be using Kendra's card sketch number 9 for my first card using this ornament, and I decided to cut it out of 3 different colored pieces of paper. So I have my gold for my main piece, I have red for the bow, and then I have silver for the parts of the ornament that are hanging down. And I get a piece of acetate and I put that behind my ornament. And then I'm going to glue on top of the acetate the bow and the hanger pieces for the ornament. The first 2 cards I will be creating are using the ornament cover plate. I love this kind of paper piecing kind of work where you can really get lots of different looks out of the die because you can use the cutout pieces in so many different ways. For this first card, I'm going to be making a shaker card, and because this, ornament gives you so much window space, it's really a great one to create a shaker card out of. I love shaker cards, but I always seem to make a mistake, and this one doesn't fail me. I make a mistake here as well. But first, I'm going to cut out my additional piece for my card sketch, and I decided to do it out of silver to go along with my little hanging ornament portion, and I'm using the Gina K snowflake design, and it's absolutely fabulous. It has so much detail, great snowflakes of all different kinds of sizes, and I decided to use on the sketch, it has a small piece of paper on the side, and I'm going to be using the sketch sideways. It won't be the horizontal way, it'll be vertical. And I decided to use the ribbon instead of the paper as my little line on the bottom. So I'm using some Noel ribbon, and it was a darker red than the true red that I already had on there. So I decided to cut another bow out of the die and just layer that on top of what I already had there. And so that will match my ribbon better. Once I had the double-sided tape burnished down really well, I put the ribbon on, and it did cause me a little bit of trouble wrapping it around because I did have to lift up the covers on the foam tape earlier than I had wanted to, and so that gave me a little bit of problem when I go to put my back on. But my biggest problem was that I ended up putting all of my shaker bits inside where the ornament is rather than on my base layer, and so now I have to try and get that on there straight without being able to really see it. So that was a problem, and I thought, well, maybe if I put some liquid glue on top of my foam tape, it'll give me some room to kind of wiggle that around, but it did not help. It did not help at all. And so even though I put that on there, it wouldn't move. Once it stuck, it was just stuck. And so it ended up not being quite straight on the backing, and I ended up having to trim it down bottom. And I did lose a lot of my glitter that I had put in there for my shaker bits. So that was a little bit disappointing. Then I finish up this card with my the rest of the sketch, which is just adding on the side panel paper E. I did see that I wasn't really showing much of the paper E, and it was making it uneven in the backing. So I decided to cut part of that off. And then when I did, I accidentally cut the bottom part off. So I had to glue that kind of separately, but it's all covered up with the ornament die, so you really won't see it. But I just wanted it to lay a little bit flatter, so by cutting half that paper off, I was able to not have to adjust the back of the ornament piece to get it to lay flat. So that finishes up my first card, and I really love how it turned out. I think it's quite elegant. I love the colors, and of course I love the metallic. It's just so beautiful. So the second thing I do is I take the ornament cover plate again, except for this time I cut it out of silver. And I had saved all the bits from my gold one. And so this time I cut a full sheet of the embossing of the silver with the embossing folder with the snowflakes. And I want you to be able to kind of see that the snowflake or that ornament looks like it's got these snowflakes in it. But I want to add this gold to it as well. So I kept all those bits from my first cut, and I'm going to use those on my second cut. So I'm just gluing the whole thing straight down, and because it is, bumpy with the embossing behind it, you do have to kind of add a little bit more glue than you might normally add to get these to lay flat and stay, because I did kind of have to hold them down. But I'm just going to add randomly some of the gold pieces back into the little slots where they go from the die. And this is like another one of those type of paper piecing ideas, but this is I'll give it a little more interest on the ornament itself. And so once I have those in, I think I'm going to use all gold for this rather than add any color. I just like the silver and gold together. I think the metals are really pretty. I'm going to continue to use sketch number 9 for this one. So it will be the same exact sketch, but it will look quite different since the colors are different. It'll just be the silver and gold. And then for my piece of paper down at the base, the strip of paper for the sketch, I'm going to use a piece of gold, and I'm also going to use the embossing folder on the gold as well. So it's going to have lots of texture, but be simple in just the silver and gold colors. For the base layer, I had intended to just use black just to keep it kind of simple, but I just felt like it was too plain after I have all this metal and embossing and paper piecing. It just felt really too plain. And so I took some of this gold paint that I really love, and I was going to try to do a really light wash with the gold, but it kind of got a little more heavy-handed than I want. But I just went around the edges with a paintbrush, and it wasn't quite as watered down as I would have liked, because I would have just liked it to have been real subtle. However, the brush strokes did give it a different look, so I ended up liking how it came together in the end. I wanted to add a simple sentiment here. So Gina K Designs has these sentiment sheets, holiday greetings, that I had ordered, and I thought they were stickers, but they are like cardstock sheets that are pre-printed, and so I just have to cut them down. And so I really like them. There's a sheet of black with white letters, and then a sheet of white with black letters. And so I just cut one of those down and stick that on, pop it up on some foam tape. And I did wipe off my ornament, all the metal area. There was some glue showing, so I just took a wet microfiber cloth and cleaned that off before I put my Merry and Bright on there. So that finishes up my ornament cards, and so now I'm going to work with the Christmas tree cover plate. And for this one, I'm using a lot different colors. I'm using, this is a blue, and I wanted to get a white impression from the embossing folder on my paper. And I think my white ink was kind of dry, so it didn't show up like I had wanted it to. So instead, I decided to ink it up a little bit, and then use just a sponge dauber and just kind of go over the raised impressions of the snowflake embossing, the embossing folder left on this on the paper. And I really like it. It's, man, this embossing folder is like one of my new favorites. It's just got such great detail, and so it was really easy to go over that and get some white on those snowflakes and make them really pop off the page. So for this card, I'm going to be using sketch number 14, and so I need a layer behind my tree, and so I just cut a white piece also with the die and just make it larger so that I have that white layer behind it. And then I need a strip on the side, and it actually calls for, 2 layers of paper, but I decided to just emboss a piece of vellum, and I didn't want to hinder any of the prettiness of the vellum or the blue background with any other layers, so I only went with 1 layer for that strip there. And then I did move the circle to the other side so that it would cover up where my vellum was kind of showing through with the Christmas tree. So that's the wonderful thing about Kendra's sketches, that they are just a jumping off point. And even here, I'm going to be putting my 3 embellishment pieces on, but it's going to be on the top rather than on the side like the sketch shows. Off camera, I used the inlay pieces from the tree die and created this card using sketch number 15. And so as you can see, I was able to get 4 different cards out of using these 2 different dies. So they are super versatile. So check out Gina K Designs, Kendra's Card Challenge. All the information is in the box below. You can find all the other contributors to the hop in the box below. And if you like what you see, I would sure appreciate it if you would consider subscribing. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.